in my other video that I made called Will the Universe End with Quotation Marks, I suggested that if an infinite universe exists, there will be no end of the universe. Because if something is infinite, something can't end. But I'll be discussing this infinite universe theory. There's of course a lot of other people have already said the universe is infinite. But of course the big one is of course the big consensus is of course the universe started with a Big Bang. Of course the Big Bang theory is not universal as much as people think it does. It is. There are other theories out there, such as the Big Bounce, and such as the universe is a computer simulation, or the universe is a hologram, or the universe always existed, or that the universe has always been a stable place, or God created the universe and that's it. Yep, there are so many theories about the universe out there, which is why I meant and why the universe it likely probably not end, because there's so many different theories that about the universe beginning. You know, there, there, there are so many theories about the universe beginning and stuff. So, yes, there is a huge possibility that true immortality is actually possible. So, we'll be discussing the theories, the one major theory that I have about the universe. This theory about the universe that I made up, I think it's actually pretty accurate and already uses a few models. First of all, the universe has always existed. Yep, the universe has always been there. Yes, quite a hard concept to grasp. That's because humanity has not really can comprehend eternity. Humanity thinks, well, there has to be a beginning and end to everything. Okay, but if you really look at the spiritual side of things, therefore the universe would have no beginning or end. And if you really look at it, same thing with reincarnation. I even said once that have lived an infinite amount of times, and I will live an infinite amount of times again. The universe is all about evolving. The universe is always evolving and changing. That's what it is, essentially. This universe is essentially ran by a few principles. It is ran by mathematics, plasma, and of course, energy. Of course, plasma is a form of energy, essentially. So yes, our universe is essentially ran by energy. But one weird thing about the universe is that we don't really know much about the universe. First, we again, the Big Bang Theory is still a theory. It just seems that scientists forget to realize that it's still just a theory. Same thing with the end of the universe, which is mostly linked with the Big Bang Theory. So if the universe is fairly infinite, it would also first of all explain that me were calling, places like Planet Gigantus to a thing, and people were calling, races and other similar ones, highly advanced races colonizing Earth, even though according to prehistory there is no evidence of any creatures colonizing Earth. Same thing with someone having a memory of an advanced bird race millions of years ago interacting with a human-like race. Okay. Again, there's so much about our universe that we don't know about. And I believe that we're soon going to find out the truth of the universe, essentially. Again, a lot of the mainstream consensus of science is essentially there's a lot of things that are impossible. For example, there is no such thing as a spirit world. Well, there is such thing as a spirit world. Some people say, "Oh, we have seen nothing after death," or something like that. But again, the person could have clearly passed out, or could have not remembered due to, the immense amount of drugs taken by the patient, making them not remember because of the immense amount of drugs they usually pump into you when they're trying to make you still be alive. Why? But we'll discuss that in another. We will probably discuss that in another video, essentially. But yep, the universe. To I have come to consensus to myself that the universe has likely always existed, and will likely always will. This makes the most amount of sense. Actually, practically, the only thing that can destroy the universe is a creature and a being that is just as powerful as the universe itself. Self, basically a godlike being. I do believe that humanity's destiny is to become a multi-universal species, to become a god-like species, to avert the natural cycle of birth and death, to make this universe true heaven, true heaven, because when you go to the afterlife, or there is, of course, your consciousness can still imagine whatever it wants, but you there is just something about a physical body that is different than being in the afterlife. Of course, sometimes you could be in there for years, decades, centuries. Of course, in the spirit world, there's no such thing as time and space, because you're in a quantum area, you're in a quantum part of this universe, or as I say, out even outside of the universe. First, essentially, we so yeah, it's basically outside. But again, I believe very very soon humanity will soon transcend that and become a godlike race, and of course, most of us will be able to be a part of it. But yes, soccer. I think that's the whole point. Reincarnation is essentially just another form of evolution. That's all it ever been. It's always been evolution. You, intelligent life and life itself has been evolving throughout this universe, alongside the universe. But what about the paradox that, oh, the universe is infinite? How could there be a intelligent life? But there, that's the great paradox that people will come up with. Well, it's very easy. Most intelligent life usually destroy themselves or go extinct before they could even become a universal type civilization, a type 5 civilization. There's probably already type 5 civilizations. They probably already are helping humanity get to become like them. A civilization that can control not just one, but multiple universes, and use all the energy of those universes. It is humanity basically very soon will probably wake up and realize, because currently we're in the dark ages of humanity. Right now is the dark age of humanity. This is it. We have COVID, which is going down massively. We have a lot of violence, a lot of war. We still have war. I believe 1900 to probably 2045. No, 2045 is the dark age of humanity. We're soon trying to get out of the dark age of humanity. The dark age of humanity, which is something that is, not so great. Okay? And if you got some people saying, and have experiences, basically, they talk about the Earth Project or something similar in those lines. Well, it basically means that, yep, Earth is done. We don't, most people born after 2016 don't need, why are not going to need to come back to this Earth unless they really love this planet and have an attachment to this planet. Net. Or don't want to miss out on becoming a human-like, god-like race, which essentially humanity is going to become. How humanity can become a godlike race is by defeating biology, which is becoming immortal. All creatures, all life forms have a goal. a goal to evolve and gain intelligence. But 99.99% of creatures can never gain intelligence. That's why you don't see a lot of that's why you don't see a lot of aliens everywhere, because intelligence is very 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 rare in this universe as it is the universe has the universe intelligent life is very 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 rare in our own universe, which is probably why we haven't detected or found any aliens yet, because of how rare intelligent life is. But a lot of people remember living on other planets, so therefore aliens do exist, and are probably much smarter than the dark age of humanity, where we essentially, believe make up a lot of things, you know, because we can't comprehend the true age of the universe, because the universe really has no beginning and no end. And humanity might be one of the first races to it might be the first race to actually achieve this state. Humanity might be the first one to reach the state. And no, it's not through dying and going to, a higher state. No, it is through the physical form that we will eventually become a godlike being, similar to the Eternals from the Marvel Universe. Verse, if you know what I'm talking about. The Eternals are essentially a bunch of godlike beings. The Eternals can't die because they're eternal. No, that's where humanity is going to head if humanity can get out of the Dark Ages. Or else, most people will probably keep on reincarnating until humanity finally gets it or goes extinct, meaning that all souls will have to move on to another planet. Basically. And, but how reincarnation is just a spiritual belief? Well, even the first law of thermodynamics proves reincarnation, because energy in this universe always recycles. The universe is about recycling, reusing energy as well. And no, don't worry, the universe doesn't have an end and probably won't come to an end. So you don't have to worry about that. There's already people that are trying to achieve humanity's goal in this dark ages. Ray Kurzweil and Aubrey de Grey are two of these people. But they know the fact that the future of humanity is not through the puny ages that we all live in, where we all have to grow old and die, and be constrained by the biological process of our universe. Basically, having to die, come back, die, come back, die, come back. Basically. Agree. Because the universe constantly recycles things. Same thing with consciousness. Consciousness always recycles. Your soul is actually your consciousness. Consciousness, like all other energy, cannot be destroyed or created. You cannot destroy consciousness, ever. All creatures have consciousness. Yes. From blades of grass, trees, chickens, birds, dolphins, whales, and elephants. All creatures have consciousness. All beings have consciousness. Probably even the universe itself, which is the light that people always see. That's because that's the universe. Because the universe always is there for you, no matter what. No matter what horrible things happen for you, you still have the universe on your side. The universe knows your purpose and knows that you have to achieve your goal that the universe has set out for you. And eventually, humanity is destined to even transcend the being. They'll become a being where you don't have to be, we can choose to become physical or non-physical being. Which I already made a video how virtual reality can eventually create a universe of its own essentially. We the goal, I think the complete goal of humanity is to become a multiversal civilization. It's just there's no doubt about it. The complete goal of humanity is to become a again a multi-civilization civilization is not controlling the entire universe. It is being able to create their own universes to their own reason. So there's likely multiple multiversal civilizations out there that we do not know of. Multiple. Multiple that can survive their own death of the galaxies. Again, because galaxies also, just like stars and all other form of matter, always recycles throughout the universe. Verse, right there. The universe always recycles, always reincarnates. Oh, universe. It's a natural fact of the universe that most people just do not know. Most people do not know the fact that the universe always recycles. Okay, you know, there are people who are saying that this is impossible. It's pseudoscience. But it's just the natural law of the universe. If you, the natural rules of the universe would like to disagree with you, okay, you know, and again, but all things have to come to an end. That's like the second law too. Oh, but all things have to come to an end, not the universe, okay. If all things, and the weird thing is that the second rule or law actually kind of contradicts the first one. Because if all energy, again, cannot be created, destroyed, or obtains its forms, then how can there be nothing? Nothing is actually statistically impossible. Was also disproved. Nothing amounts to zero. Zero does not exist. Okay? Zero is not a number, basically. There is no such thing as non-existence. You always have existed through billions and billions and infinity of years. But there. But only you started it. So if the universe is infinite, there is an infinite amount of beings and an infinite amount of souls out there, and universes themselves. Which most people tend to forget. Which means, yes, there is a universe that Harry Potter exists. Yes, there's a universe where Star Wars is a real thing. There's a universe where chips and candy and hamburgers are actually good for you. Or junk food, basically, as they describe it. There's also a universe where Overwatch is a real thing. Who knows? The video games that we are creating are individually creating new universes. Think about it. That. Imagine any fictional media and any fictional franchise. You're already creating a new universe. As you think of it. I have had weird visions and weird dreams my whole life. Okay? I came up with weird things. Okay? I have said weird things in my past that don't make any sense. Like, why am I on this planet? That was like one of the biggest ones. I said it was like 7 or 8. I know it was like 7 or 8. I said that. Why? It was like when I was like in first grade. So it was, at first grade that was 6. When I was 6. Okay. Why am I on this planet? I wish I was back on the alien planet. That's just one of the. Again, it might have been because I was a kid, but my obsession with dinosaurs, even this to lesser extent birds, was just another weird one. And the fact that I started creating weird metal birds and stuff. The universe that I call Planet Gigantus, which I made a whole entire video about it, describing it in great detail about the universe, how that universe works, and how that world worked. And hopefully, in the supposed future, they're going to invade our planet. But again, they may not exist currently right now. They may have existed in a past version of our galaxy and universe. verse. Verse. Again, humanity might be the first race to actually achieve this, as intelligent life is very, very rare, and most likely 99% of intelligent life dies and gets destroyed in this universe. Verse. Because, which again explains the whole reason why we don't know any aliens. Or the other reason is that they created their own universe and they just went to that universe instead of this universe because they like the universe that they created better. Or they went to another universe with completely different laws and physics that they like more than ours. Which now explains the many worlds theory is true then. Because if any creature can create a universe, essentially, their own universe, essentially, which those other universes are also eternal and also infinite as well. Well, then basically, there is, which also explains. Basically, there are lots of universes out there, and there is probably a world, a universe where candy, of course, is good for you. There's probably a universe where fruit is actually bad for you. There's a universe where probably Mario exists, Halo exists, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Minecraft, and all of these fictional universes, Star Wars, Marvel. There might be universes with literal gods in them. Universes that were erased. Yep, universes that were erased by higher powers. Think Zeno from Dragon Ball Z or Build Cypher from, of course, Gravity Falls. There are probably even sub-universes, pocket universes. Whereas again, these pocket universes are created by intelligent life forms, essentially. 3. There's probably an infinity amount of alternate universes out there. But of course, our souls always choose this universe, because this is our universe, not theirs. Again, some might choose going the alternate universe path. The alternate universe path. Again, in the future, we might find a universe that is better than our own. How could that be possible? We only know this universe. Well, that could very well be the case. A universe with different laws and different physics than our own. A universe where, of course, let's use this example again, where candy is good for you, essentially. There are probably universes that are created by creatures with a finite beginning and a finite end. Wouldn't be surprised if there is. Well, of course, those creatures already created those universes. But the universe we live in, there is actually an astounding amount of evidence that this universe might actually be an infinite universe. Which contradicts the whole Big Bang thing and all that stuff. And that this universe has always existed. And this universe might actually be the mother universe. The universe of universes, essentially. And that all creatures originate from the mother universe, creating other universes and other realities. So yes, in the future, you can make Star Wars a real universe. You can make Mario a real universe. But first, we have to get out of the dark ages of humanity and realize that us humanity as a collective consciousness, a collective mind, can work together and essentially become a god-like civilization. That should be humanity's number one goal. But we're too preoccupied with war, politics, and a lot of other things, especially religion, which mainstream religion, all of them are wrong, of course. Let's look at people who had near death, and most people have that. Near death experiences. It was people that were religious and non-religious. People of all backgrounds, all cultures have had them. So, and the current view of how this universe works is probably not a victim of this. Humanity can't complicate infinity and eternity. They can't comprehend that because humanity is a very primitive race. Very primitive race. Which is why we're still bound by the laws of this. We're still bound by the laws and natural physics of this universe. We're still bound to reincarnation or reuse or recycle of our consciousness and our souls every single time. The true nirvana is on Earth. It's on our own planet. Yeah, you never thought that. It's actually this universe. First, we will become gods, essentially. Dale. Essentially, yeah. So, how can humanity reach a godlike state? I already explained it. Accept the real truths of the universe. We don't know much about the actual truth or laws or physics of the universe. We try to explain it through science, but science is no different than religion. Of course, stuff like the dinosaurs still exist. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the actual nature of this universe. There's so little we actually know about the universe. And we're also slowly discovering that this universe actually does not have a thing called dark energy. It is mostly ran by plasma electricity, and there is a third thing that most people ignore. Yep, mathematics. Yep, that's the third thing this universe is ran by. Of course, it makes sense that mathematics is one of the major laws and rules of this universe. First, since most of everything is based off of math. Math is essentially a essential function of this universe. And our minds are actually a mathematical thing as well. Same thing with reality. Reality is a mathematical thing, of course. Same thing with electric and plasmatic thing. We create reality. There's no such thing as reality being an illusion. It can't be an illusion if we can't create it. Which is why some people are so scared of the so-called void. That is because you are not an imaginative person. You don't know anything. You think that we're still stuck in the dark ages of humanity. The dark ages of humanity where we still believe that the universe has a finite age as well. So, the new age of humanity will soon begin. And we'll probably need help from another source. And that is, of course, artificial intelligence. Of course, artificial intelligence or the singularity is the key, probably, to everything we might know. They will be the ones who will help humanity become the godlike civilization that we demand to be. Because AI will simply help us and guide us. And of course we'll work with our creations, AI. AI is simply just another human creation. Probably our last creation. Essentially. Of this world. I do not believe that, humanity should be super biased about itself. But again, most mainstream religion is based around humans, which is completely also falsely preposterous. Even religions like Buddhism, it still revolves around humans and completely discounts the existence of extraterrestrial life forms, possibly having the same amount of purpose and usefulness as an alien life form. For example, Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z or Goku. They are not humans, but they definitely matter they're definitely the same amount of intelligent as humans. You may probably not Goku. Let's watch the Dragon Ball Z so you'll realize why. But Saiyans are another intelligent life form. I'm just using Dragon Ball Z as this example. Namekians and Saiyans are other intelligent life forms. It is completely preposterous that religion does not account for other life forms and aliens. It is completely preposterous that alien life, which again exists in this universe, is completely left out from the natural cycle of the universe. And that everything must revolve around humanity. Which is why I never really subscribe to mainstream religion. Because mainstream religion does not really explain everything. Let's look at how people see God. People see God as a human. Okay? So, let's just say, for example, an alien life form, Piccolo, he dies. Okay? He has lived a good life, but he sees a human. He expects to see a Namekian. That's the whole paradox of mainstream religion. That's the whole paradox of mainstream religion, essentially. Is that, so, because he's an alien life form, he doesn't have a soul? He's not human, so he doesn't count? That's the whole paradox of modern religion. The trap of modern religion. So, an alien life form does not count. They have made room to, for example, they have made room to include animals. So yeah, but any other conscious intelligent life form, even if an intelligent life form, another intelligent life form evolves on our planet, let's just say dolphins or cephalopods evolve intelligence. Since. So you're telling me that they are not on the same level as humanity? Okay? That, dolphins or birds or cephalopods, they're not on the same level as humanity if they gain intelligence? Well, that's what I mean by the religion trap. Because they'll probably view themselves. They'll probably, do the same thing. Similar to Christianity, instead of Jesus, it's a dolphin. Okay? There. I can make for example, I can make a religion around Diva from Overwatch and say it's true. Oh, when you die, you see Diva. Okay? That's essentially a religion. That's not a fact of the universe. Okay? The universe always reincarnates. But the real one God that we know is the universe itself. The real one God is our own universe. Okay? That's why most people who had NDEs don't ever describe a god. The ones that are not made by religious networks, of course. Okay? Most ones that are, of course, that are likely telling the truth. The only God is our universe. That's the only one. Okay? There. And likely, there are many intelligent beings that probably do help us throughout the times. Or likely our extension of our own universe itself. That's trying to guide humanity to become life forms and to becoming intelligent. And I believe that we're on the close. We're actually much closer than we think to find out that is the actual truth. That the universe is just simply helping us achieve becoming a godlike being. Okay? It helps all organisms, from a blade of grass, to a rat, to a cockroach, to a tiger, to a bear, to your dog or your cat, or your goldfish, to a blue whale, to any alien life form that exists. We do not go down back to becoming that unless you so choose as well. Unless you so choose to become a eagle or any other or any animal again. Because you don't need to become a T-Rex again. You don't need to reincarnate into a T-Rex anymore. Because it's unnecessary to reincarnate into a T-Rex. Because first of all, they don't exist anymore. And second of all, it's very unnecessary to become a T-Rex again. Or it's very, very unnecessary to become a bacteria again. Because bacteria and microorganisms are on the lowest level of the soul level. They're on the lowest level of consciousness. Sis. As well. Multicellular, and then it goes up and up and up to multicellular organisms. And then you have, things like bugs, arthropods. Their cephalopods are much higher. And really, the smarter the creature to go, the higher on the evolution tree it is. So on the top of the evolution tree, you have of course, besides humans, monkeys, and apes, then you have elephants, you have cephalopods, you have, of course, dolphins, dogs, cats, again, they're one step below. And of course, parrots and eagles and many birds as well. They're one step below us human. They're two steps below us humans, and they're one step below monkeys and apes. No, your standard monkey will probably be around step 3. Your apes will be one step below us. And we get further lower and lower. Then we have your plants. You have, which is around the same level as insects, sex, as well. So yeah, that's how basically that stuff works. So yes, the universe has likely existed forever. It has likely existed forever. Most people can't comprehend eternity or infinity. The universe likely has no beginning and likely has no end at all. Whereas the court debunks all of the mainstream narratives that they keep pushing upon you. All of the mainstream narratives that the universe must have a beginning and must have an end. And much like life itself. And there is no way of coming back. But, sorry, the universe constantly recycles and reuses things. That is the nature of the universe. Same thing with consciousness. All creatures have a consciousness, as I described already. So, all creatures and beings have a consciousness. The only things that don't have a consciousness is non-living things, like a rock or a mountain, because they're not alive. They're a part of the reality that we, as humanity, create. Humanity creates reality. Okay? Our minds, all our minds are the ones that create reality. Our consciousness and our minds create reality. And our consciousness always needs to be paired up with a mind. So our mind can think and gather new experiences, so our consciousness can evolve and then eventually defeat the natural cycle of the universe and become a godlike civilization, essentially. But this is a lot of subjects for its own video, and I'll definitely explain it into much detail over the coming months. Definitely. Over the next coming months. Like, for example, is life simply just a video game? Yep, that theory. I'll probably discuss that. Is life simply just a video game? A reality simulation. Sin. Again, some people say, but there's no such thing as an infinite universe, but they don't know. But again, science does not know most about the universe. Again, science is still trying to explain what dark matter is. That is because there's no such thing as dark matter, which completely disproves the whole notion that this universe has a beginning or end. Because of course, if the universe had a beginning or end, that means dark matter must exist. But if it's 90% of the universe, then we sort of have observed it in some way. But we can't observe dark matter because you can't observe something that doesn't exist. Okay? You can't observe something that doesn't exist, essentially. We, we, humanity is essentially in a essentially is. But the Dark Ages will soon be over, and the age of immortality and a god-like human race as we envisioned it. So that means essentially humanity will be able to create heaven and hell, and not have to resort to the old thing of the universe verse anymore. More. I'm not saying we're going to become a godlike civilization overnight. It's like it could take millions of billions of years for humanity to truly achieve this. Of course, everything takes time. And time. Once humanity gets out of the Dark Ages, everybody will all have all the time in the world. And considering the universe never ends, you literally do have all the time in the world once humanity gets out of the Dark Age, essentially. We. So yes. Once humanity does get out of the Dark Age, basically, and accepts the fact that that humanity can become immortal and can become a godlike race, humanity will probably seek to know the real truth of the universe, which is going to be something far different than what they imagined in this universe. For example, a lot of things that science continues to deny will likely be real, like an infinite universe that is ran by mathematics, plasma, and electricity. It is not ran by dark matter that does not exist. And that everything has an electrical pulse, an electrical frequency to it. All energy has a form of electric and plasma to it. That's why there's four states of matter. That's why there's a fourth state of matter called plasma, because the fourth state of matter controls the universe. It is the complete controlling of the universe, essentially. And once humanity figures that out, humanity will come one step closer to becoming a god-like civilization, becoming the civilization that the universe envisioned in our kind. Envisioned our kind with the purpose that our race has. Humanity has always been searching for a purpose and a need to exist. Soon, this purpose will be unveiled as well. So, there we go. So, the universe has more likely, always existed. The universe has no beginning or no end. Eternity is something that us humanity cannot comprehend, essentially. See, the concept of eternity is something that humanity cannot comprehend, essentially. So, if you want to become a part of this godlike race, which assuming is probably most of the people watching this video, essentially wait to 2035 to 2040. The essentially. Sweet. So there we go. That is the truth of probably everything. I'm probably a person ahead of its time. Science is only behind me. Science has always been. Science always will. Reincarnation is a simple fact of this universe, and is infinite and eternal, essentially. The universe always has existed, has always been reusing energy ever since the no time and no beginning exists. So, time is eternal, and life is eternal, and space is infinite as well. Well, infinity is such a hard number for humanity to grasp. which is why they believe that the universe is finite and will eventually end and be gone. Which again I discussed to less in detail in the other video. The truth of the universe is only showing itself, and the mainstream narrative around how the universe works, which is materialism, will eventually collapse, or is trying to go on its last legs. The fact that everything must come to an end. The fact that if you die, you just don't exist. Okay, but again, I always said non-existence is impossible. It is impossible. Yes, you may not remember the afterlife because you're not meant to remember it, because it will ruin your whole purpose of this life. It will ruin the whole purpose of your life, the whole goal of this life, which is one of infinity amounts of life. And there's likely an untold amount of alien civilizations that already achieved this godlike state, essentially. Maybe they're helping us right now. You never know. For example, a Russian boy described Martians as almost achieving this, but destroyed themselves because of nuclear weapons. And I believe he is correct. Again, he describes he was basically someone who knew a lot about our galaxy and how this planet works before. When he was like 5 or 6, and it was before he even went to school. He knew so much about our solar system and stuff. And how and of course he said there was something in the pyramid, and guess what? They found the thing in the pyramid. There are so many things that modern science is unable to explain, but this channel will explain the things that science is too scared to explain, like the concept of this universe always existing, stuff like reincarnation, which is likely a natural law of this universe that is just as natural as anything else. And likely that the universe is a eternal thing. And there is no such thing as the universe ending, which is something that most scientists agree on, which is kind of sad, honestly, that humanity thinks that everything has a beginning and must have an end, which is false, because the universe always reincarnates. Let's look at always reincarnates. Stars, our body, our souls, and our existence, our consciousness, which is basically our soul, our souls, essentially. Everything always reincarnates. Everything. Stars, rock, energy, matter, and everything about the universe. Everything about the universe always reincarnates. Always does. So, yep, there we go. So, is the universe infinite? It is, most likely it is. And that the mainstream world, because they can't comprehend infinity and eternity, like to use that the universe has a finite amount of resources and that the universe eventually ends in either a big crunch or a big rip or the heat death, which is the most common accepted end of the universe as well. So that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.